Okay, so we'll start. So we're gonna start with the for loops today. Okay, so you take any data types and you take any software language. The important thing that you're supposed to do or you're supposed to carry out is that iteration, how it is gonna do the traveling. That is what we're gonna see, right? For example, if I'm a professor and I have a 10 classes that controls and that comes under my control, what I have to do? I have to appoint a certain representative to go to these classes frequently to do some operation. Maybe I want to check whether people present in the classes, whether I'm going to check whether the staff is there, or need to pick some special student every day, or every day I need to go and take the attendance, whatever it is. What I have to do, I need to travel to all the 10 classes, correct? Same thing applies in our code as well. Okay, so when you have any data type, there would be a case where I have to do the manipulation into that particular data type and do certain operations. Maybe I have to see whether this character exists, how many times, whether I have to see, is there a repetition, so on. So and this for loop is common for list, tuple, dictionary, and string. But in dictionary, the looping concept varies big. Okay. So now let me take a string here. Now what happened? Dhoni is my captain, is my given string. Okay. Now I'm going to do the iteration. For. For is the syntax or for is a block of statement to do the iteration. Now I want to do the certain iteration inside my variable. So I want to appoint a special person who can travel in this particular string. So usually people will declare X, but my suggestion would be like declare something which is very useful to understand. So data or letters. For letters in. In means where you're gonna travel. You're gonna travel in your string. Let me check. You're going to travel in your string. That's it. Now the looping if statement, while statement, else statement, elif statement, class, functions, these are all called block of statement because when you declare that thing, then inside that you're going to return some functionality. You know that in Python is unstructured programming where we are not going to declare any curly braces, isn't it? So we'll put colon. Anything that ends with a colon means followed by that will be a group of statement. So that the cursor when you enter after the colon is blinking in middle of a for loop, not at the start of the for loop. This is why we call Python as a indent specific. So if your cursor is blinking in the middle of a for loop, what does it mean is that that line which you're gonna write belongs to that particular for loop. So look at that print latest. So what you're basically telling your input is to travel to the given input and pick each and every letter, come back and print the same letters. Because whatever that you want to write as a part of a for loop is your duty, correct? Whatever that needs you to do, you can do that. You can travel and do something. You can travel and find something. You can travel and take something. It's up to you to choose what you're going to do. But as of now, I'm just choosing to just print the letters. Look at that. Datas are printing one after the other. I repeat, datas are printing one after the other. Why? Because that's how the print usually works. When print executes the operation, it will give the cursor automatically to the next position. This is what for loop is all about. Okay, it travels to D and then it prints D. Then it travels to H, it prints H. It travels to O and then it prints O. So to the rest of the character, including the spaces. So this is how the natural for loop happens. And because of the print statement functionality, you can see the data are printing one after the other. Okay. What if I want to print the data horizontally in the same line instead of new lines? You have to use this operation. Here, letter comma end is equal to double quote. Now look at the data are printing horizontally because The end is a statement which will ask your cursor not to go to the next line. It will ask your cursor to stay back on the same line. This is the reason why data are printing horizontally. Okay. Now, what I did here, single quote, an empty single quote. Okay. If you want, even you can leave the space between two characters. So now, when I run, look at that. D space, H space, O space, N space, I space. Between each and every letter, it has a character. That's what this end indicates. And at times you may have to add star also. So it's up to you guys, inside the double quote, whatever that you wish to print in middle of a string, you can do that. Okay. This is what the normal for loop is all about. Okay. What is this for loop? This is the for loop that travels to the each and every letter of your given input. Correct? Because that's how the for loop defined by nature. It travels to your input directly. Even if it is a list or even if it is a tuple, it is going to do the same thing. But you know that when you do the traveling, you can do certain other operation based upon the index, because you know each letters of a string, each character or each comma separator of your tuple list carries their index value as well. So during a for loop, even you can insist your program to get us the index number as well. How do you achieve it? This way. You just put enumerate. So enumerate is a special function that is part of a Python to produce a result along with the index. Look at that. Earlier, when I don't put the enumerate, you got only D, H, O, N, I, so on, so only the letters. But as soon as I put the enumerate, you can see the output is coming along with the index. The index followed by a letter. Index followed by a letter. Okay. So, but both the index and number are getting stored in one letter. So the output is coming in the form of tuple. If you have a doubt, you can do the type check. Look at it. Everything is a tuple. If you're wondering that Mohan, why the letter is giving me the tuple output, that's how the nature of Python works. Okay, if any chance, look at it. Now what happened? In one variable, which is my underscore name, I'm trying to give two letters, two characters that is separated by a comma, basically two words. You know that a word can have only one word, only one data at a time. But now I'm trying to pass two data. When you pass two data by yourself, your Python will automatically consider that as a tuple. Look at that. It automatically sees that as a tuple. This is the reason why in enumerate, when you have only one, where is that? This one, it is automatically considering that as a tuple and producing two data. Okay. So my humble suggestion is that, this data is getting two data. I mean, two stuffs, right? Better to do this. So now what happened? You can get two different entity in a two different variables. So obviously it is going to be a normal variable. If you want letters, you can print letters, or if you want index, you can print index. So now the option is yours, right? Whatever that you wish to do, you can do that, because you intentionally or you made a good code of statement by separating the two words. So now what happened? The number that you see as a part of the earlier output will be given in an index variable, and the character will be coming in the letters variable, so that it is easy for you to manipulate. Okay. So when you run, look at that. If you want to have a comma in between, if you want to have a colon in between, you can try that as well. This is how the actual for loop works. Now you understand the basic. Now you should understand how the for loop is happening, because look at that. As soon as the cursor comes here, it is going back to the letter D. First, it is go to D. Once it go to D, it will come here and do the operation whatever I told him to do. Once it is done, it will go back to the next iterator. it will take H. So as soon as it is H, it will come down and do the operation. So to O. How does it happen? All this is happening because inside the for loop, there are two mechanisms that is actually running. This is interview point of view. Next and iter method, not init. Iter. See, iter is a state holder. When I goes to D, and when next time the cursor goes back, it will say that D is already traveled. You just travel to H. It is holding the state. For example, as I told in the given example, if I want to go to all the 10 classes of my college, what I'll do, I'll go to first class and then I'll go back to the principal and I'll report saying that these are the students. Now, possibly that I may go to the same class again, correct? So just to avoid this problem of going back to the older state, someone will stand at the outside of the classroom to tell that these are the classes that you already done the traveling. That's what the iter does. And next method will be staying here. The next method will be sitting hidden inside the last line of the for loop. It will say that go back to the loop again. So it will keep pushing you to the next iterator. So because of this two element that is running at the backdrop, you can see the for loop is happening how it's supposed to be. Okay. So this is what the basic of a for loop. Please do make a note of.
How many input methods can we use this formula?
Jay, I'm not hearing you properly. Your voice is very, very low.
Second. Any inbuilt methods we use inside for loop, Mohan?
No, Jay, there is no inbuilt. That's what I told, right? These iter and next method are that is actually sitting inside the for loop. There is no other inbuilt method which you can use part of it. Maybe they enumerate and few things like the joins, but there is no major stuff that you can use in for loop.
Okay, Mohan.
Yeah, yeah.
Mohan, Mohan.
Team done.
Mohan, facing an issue, Mohan.
Share பண்றீங்களா?
Yes, Mohan.
Yeah.
I'm using PyCharm, Mohan. Recently, I have moved my Python files to my hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I am seeing. So if I'm running this program, this message is showing.
Usually what will happen is that this PyCharm is a third-party library. Okay. So for this PyCharm, right, we need to give the path where our Python got usually installed. Okay. But it seems that the Python is not properly installed in that particular path, or the path may not be having this one. So go to file, click the file, and Lakshmi ji, one more request to make sure that you always keep the proper file name. G. Okay, now you're keeping like
Okay.
scratch one. It might end up in an issue. Okay, don't do that. So go to settings, come down. No, file property settings. Middle. Yeah, yeah. Click on the project, Uber create set, Python interpreter. Yeah. Okay. Click on the scroll. Yeah, click that. Click the DDL. Yes. Show all. Show all. Okay. See, everything is. Click on the third one. Hmm. Click apply.
Nothing to show.
Oh, is it? So wait. Then go to the DDL again. Show all. Okay. Click plus at the top. Yeah. Third one. System interpreter. Click left hand side. Left hand side. Third one. Click that drop down. Okay. You know where you got installed your Python? Ji? Go to idle. Open idle. Open idle in your system. Ideally. You just type ideally.
Also not opening.
Idle is not opening, is it?
Yes.
So what you can do, G? So meanwhile, you just execute this code on a online compiler. Maybe tomorrow before everybody joins, right? We can see this and sort this out. Okay.
Okay.
This is usually because there is some changes to the installation, something that you tried, or
Yes.
you would have reshuffled the installation.
So earlier it was working. So this
And
is
that's what
my
I was
mistake.
wondering. No issues, we'll sort it out. It's not a big deal.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, thank you. So guys, if the meeting gets ends, I'll share you the another link. You can join it over.